Hey guys, welcome back to Double Scoop. Janine,
David?
nice to see you guys. It's Sunday evening for us, and today we are going to be talking about OCD or Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. And before we dive into it, this is just our personal experience, what we've been through, what we have come to understand and learn through therapy, research, education, and by no means are we doctors or medical
Oh,
professionals. We are just hoping to have an open and honest conversation, bring awareness, and maybe start the conversation for you guys. Our entire goal of this channel is to create content that you find relatable and accessible and maybe thought provoking. And that's what this is going to be today.
yeah. So OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. What is it? Basically, there's two parts: the obsessive and the compulsive. Um, some people can have both, or one or the other. Um, the obsessive part would be like uncontrollable recurring thoughts, kind of worst case scenario type things where your mind is just going and going and going and doesn't stop and just thinks worst case scenario and just is kind of out of control.
Running at 100 miles an hour.
Compulsive side would be, I don't know, just if, for example, someone that needs to flip on and off a light switch several times before they can leave it alone, or open and close a door several times before they can leave it alone, things like that. I have been uh, diagnosed with OCD
By a
from
professional.
by a professional going close to 10 years now. Been medicated for it. I take medicine daily for it.
I'm not. Probably should seek. I have been in therapy before. I have not been in therapy specifically for OCD, but I strongly believe that I do have some OCD tendencies myself, and I'm
Yes.
not medicated for it. And in our relationship, we have really noticed a difference in how we process things.
Yeah. Yeah. So really, we just wanted to share our individual experiences, and maybe you guys can relate. Um, but I'm curious. Has anyone ever mentioned it to you before? But like before me, has anyone ever said, "Hey, Janine, you might have OCD"?
Um, when I was in college and I was finishing up, like right before I was about to graduate, like probably my last or second to last semester, I saw an on-campus therapist because I was really struggling with like panic attacks,
Mm,
and she did give me medication for it at the time.
yeah,
And it's been a while, but I feel like she probably mentioned some of this does stem from parts of OCD, but no,
sure.
nobody has ever really mentioned it. I think I disguise it really well, as a lot of women do, because I'm a very type A personality,
Yeah.
especially since I don't have the compulsions like flipping on a light switch,
Mhm.
you know, left has to go first, or, having to do things a certain way before I can do any task.
Yeah.
I think it's very easily described and written off for women, especially as just, oh, she's a type A personality. I was going to ask, when did you first realize, notice, when did this first come to light for you? Did you know you had an issue before you went to therapy, or was it a therapist who kind of broke the news like, oh, all these things you're experiencing, it's because you have OCD?
Um, Mine was kind of gradual. I wasn't. I didn't. I don't think I really showed anything when I was younger, um, going through school and stuff. However, when I got older, had kids, um, I have a few compulsive tendencies. I always do the left side first. My left sock goes on first. My left shoe goes on first. I untie my left shoe first. Just a left side always has to be first. And if it's not, I have to start over. If you guys watch our other videos, our workout videos, I have to stop on an even number. I hate odd numbers, just part of it. Um, I have to start things on a Monday. If we miss a Monday working out,
The rest of the week is probably shot.
yeah, 99% of the time I will not go the rest of the week. I have before, and it makes me very uncomfortable. But if I push through it, then I'm okay. Um, but going back to when I noticed it, it was the recurring thoughts. It was thinking worst case scenario all the time. Um, like if something went wrong at work, I'm thinking, oh, geez, I'm going to get fired over this. Or if something happened with one of the kids at school or something, I'm like, oh, they're going to fail. Or I don't know, if they get off the bus late, then, oh my gosh, the bus was in a wreck and the kids are gone. And, just always, always, always worst case scenario. And it is so exhausting, um, just tiring. Um, and when I started going to therapy, um, I went through several therapists to find the right one, and a couple of them were like, "Oh, it's just your anxiety or whatever." But then when I finally found the right therapist, it was, yeah, you have anxiety, but you have so much anxiety because of your OCD. You are so freaked out all the time because your brain is just on overdrive, and that is creating the anxiety, the depression, all these things. So it took several years
To really
to
just nail
really
down an
just
answer
nail it
of what was
down.
the true cause
Yeah,
of what you were experiencing.
yeah,
When
yeah.
would you say it most affects you? Let's say today, because that's what we're talking about. Like today, how does it most affect you?
So on a normal day, um, because I'm medicated, let me go back. The medication is to slow down your brain. You take the medicine to stop your brain from moving so fast. That's why the compulsive thoughts they intrude in your mind. They win because your mind is moving so fast that you don't have time to think rationally. And so the medication slows your brain down to create time to have a rational thought, to make sense of a situation, and just almost like your brain taking a breath. Like, okay,
That's what medication
chill.
does.
That's what the medication does.
Oh,
And so now on a day-to-day basis, because I'm medicated, I think I deal with it pretty well. I still have the compulsive stuff. That's not going to change probably. But the obsessive, I'm able to look at a situation, slow it down, and think rationally. There still are moments, of course, like if something is happening very quickly, like say I'm in an argument at work or something, like I'm not happy with someone at work, we're arguing, then my brain kind of overrides the medicine and I think too quickly because I'm worked up and it just, immediate worst case. Um, so there are some instances like that. However, most of the time, the medication does what it's supposed to do, and
that's amazing.
it is.
Do you feel like at the time were you hesitant to go on medication because there is a stigma around being medicated for mental health?
There is. However, my anxiety and depression runs in my family. And so
Do you know if anyone else is medicated for it?
for anxiety and depression, yes, but not for OCD. I'm the
Okay.
only one in my family that takes medicine for OCD.
Okay.
Um, I do think there are some family members. I love you guys, but you probably need to take some medicine for some OCD um, because it is very beneficial. Um, but I am not afraid to take medicine to help me.
At the time when you started it and when the therapist first told you you have OCD, I recommend medication to help with that.
It made total sense.
Were you like immediately like, yes,
Give
I
it to
want
me.
it?
Give it to
Okay.
me right
That's
now.
different than a lot of people, especially men, being open and willing and accepting of taking a
Yeah.
little bit of extra help.
And I think I was like that because of how intrusive the thoughts were.
Were
I
you
mean,
just like ready to make it stop?
I needed it to stop. It can, in a lot of instances, lead to very dark, depressing thoughts that probably can't be talked about on YouTube. Um, so just imagine worst case scenario, and that's where the thoughts go.
And were you
And
there ever or no?
absolutely, absolutely. I've been there several times, and the best thing is to take medicine and get things under control.
Just get the help that you need.
Get the help you need, 100%.
Well, I'm really proud of you for doing that.
Thank
I
you.
don't think I ever knew that.
Honestly, it's not something I really share with people.
Yeah.
I think besides my therapist, um, I can't think of anyone else that knows that actually.
Hmm.
Actually, no, I can. My old barber. My old barber knows. But that's it. Um,
Well, I'm glad you were comfortable with that and were willing to kind of move forward in that direction.
yeah,
And it's been a positive experience for you.
definitely positive. And I think that's why we have talked about you seeing someone, and I don't. I've never pushed anything on Janine. And they're like, you need to do this. That's not me ever. No, that's never been me.
No, definitely not.
I'm not a controlling partner or anything like that. But when it comes up with us, I have said, hey, might be worth checking it out,
Yeah.
seeing if it's by a professional, of course. If you need medicine for it, then I'm here. I advocate for it. Whatever.
And I'm a firm believer in getting a little bit of help.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I would be very willing to do that. I think for myself, I have been able to take my OCD, take these obsessions that I have, and part of it is tied up with my job. Like I'm a very type A personality, and as a woman, I think OCD is written off a lot as just being type A or controlling woman. It's just very easily dismissed.
Yeah.
However, in doing my job well, which is like requires paying attention to the details, caring about every little minute thing, and
Yeah.
just kind of literally touching my hand to every piece of the puzzle, for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
that makes me feel good. And just in a more realistic way for what it looks like at home, what would you say like the number one thing, the number one place you see it is in for me?
For you, you definitely like to be in control of every situation, which isn't a bad thing. It's not. Trust me, it's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But even the things that are out of your control, you need to be in control of. And
I prefer to be.
I think you have a hard time accepting that some situations you just can't control and you have to let go of.
You think that?
Sometimes. Not all the time. Just in some situations, yeah.
Not to rebuttal you necessarily, but
Or we can have our first argument.
no.
Okay, good.
But I very like logically and rationally know when something is out of my control. And I'm a firm believer of not getting yourself worked over things you can't fix because it doesn't get you anywhere besides stressing you out.
Yeah, I agree.
However, if there is the option for something to be in my control, why are you laughing?
I'm sorry. I'm not meaning to.
I do prefer it because I do not trust necessarily that leaving it up to somebody else will have it done to my standards.
Uh-huh. Which leads back to my comment that even if it's not in your control,
But
if you can control it, you prefer to.
yes, but if it's like truly like this is not up to you, I don't get upset.
Okay.
That's like the logical, rational part of me, and I think
Okay.
I'm a pretty logical, rational person most
You
of
are.
the time.
You are. The other areas I might see it with you is um, if something comes up, say, just for example, if something came up with the kids. You guys know Janine's a bonus mom, and she's an amazing bonus mom. Um, and when something comes up, say, for example, with the kids, and Janine is so protective of of the kids, and it doesn't even have to be just something at school. And if she knows it just is what it is, like one of the kids screwed up. They missed school and missed a test, and then they did terrible on the test or something. I don't know. Um, you, I think those are instances when your thoughts tend to kind of take off, maybe,
Me?
um, and get the better of you at times.
Ultimately, I do like to be in control. It makes me feel calm to be in control of my fate and where my day is going, where our day is going.
Sure.
Little mind. Um, and so I do know that there are situations that I cannot affect, but when there are ones that I can, I really latch on.
Then I have a question. If if things aren't going your way, does that give you anxiety?
I think it
Do you
depends on the
do you
situation.
get do you get even though you're very good at keeping things in and putting on a smiley face inside, do you get worked up? Your heart race? You get like sweaty palms, a little bit of sweat on the lower back, something like
I
that. Sweaty forehead.
I would say I feel very like anxious on the inside,
Yeah.
maybe like borderline panic attack ish.
Okay, so you just kind of proved my point.
However, I like to think I'm pretty good at talking myself off a ledge.
Which is great.
Like I know when I'm approaching the okay, you're getting a little bit too close. This is a little too irrational. This doesn't make sense. You know it doesn't make sense. You know you can't do anything about this. Why are you getting worked up? You
Yeah.
need to like dial it in.
Yeah.
And I think I'm pretty good at that for myself.
That's great. And I is
And
that
I look for other areas where I can kind of calm myself down and where I can bring myself a little bit of peace and quietness, like up here,
yeah.
to kind of fix that.
Is that any of that something you learned through therapy, or is it just kind of self-taught or
I
self?
think it's probably just self taught.
Okay.
Like I may be really anxious about something else, but like I'm going to start cleaning the kitchen top to bottom,
You do clean when you're. Yeah.
clean or bake, like something
Yeah.
very process oriented,
Yeah.
because completing it like end to end
Hmm.
feels good to me.
Makes sense.
And it's soothing and it's something that I do have within my control from start to finish.
Yeah.
And if I do that, then that kind of helps kind of give me this feeling of calm.
Hmm.
I've controlled something, I've seen it through,
Yeah.
almost like it is a placeholder for the other things I can't
Hmm.
control.
Hmm.
Actually, not like I would say, yes, that is exactly what it is. It is a placeholder and it takes the space of something that it's totally out of my control. But you I mean, I deal with it a little bit differently, a little bit
Sure.
more frantic.
Hmm.
I do not have the extra help and kind of quieting some of those thoughts. So I have kind of learned other ways to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so one of the things I learned through therapy was to give my OCD a name. And this is apparently something that a lot of therapists recommend because if you're, it just makes it a safe space. You don't want to call it. OCD is so medical and has
Stigmatized.
yeah has a stigma of a negative whatever but naming it you know and also picturing what it is. So my OCD is a hamster running on a wheel in my brain. I'm sure you've all seen hamsters running on a wheel. Sometimes they get going really, really fast and out of control, and then they fly off the wheel and
Or they catch and go around a couple of
yeah,
times.
And my hamster's name is Walter. Um, so there's times when we lay in bed at night and are talking and hey, how's Walter today? Or Walter had a rough day, or whatever it may be. It just makes it a safer space to talk about.
Through David, I learned about naming what your OCD was. And I've seen how much easier it is to talk about it when it's a thing that has a name.
Have you noticed that?
It is.
Yeah.
I have. I really have noticed it's
Good.
so much easier to talk about. And I've never heard of that because, of course, I've not been in therapy for OCD.
Yeah.
But after talking with you, we came up with a name for my version.
We did.
My version is Amber.
Well, so at night we say, "How's Amber?" Or even in the middle of the day, if something is going on and I can see Amber kind of creeping in on the day, then I just, "Hey, how's Amber doing today?" You know, do we need to talk about Amber? Do we need to whatever?
Save it for later.
Yeah, and it's something that we can say in front of people, or
And I think it also helps me kind of compartmentalize my feelings a little bit.
like you realize Amber's kind of creeping up, and
Yeah,
I noticed it without you even saying anything.
definitely yes, but also in a way that's like, I know this does not feel logical, rational, but these feelings are still valid and they still deserve to be addressed and
Yeah.
talked about. And sometimes in the moment, I'm not ready or I'm not in a place where I've processed them enough or I feel like I can put them into words.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier for me to say, Amber is not ready
Yeah.
and put it aside,
And that's my cue to
drop it,
drop it. Like, uh, Janine's not ready to talk about it. I need to chill.
which has been actually hard for you.
Sometimes it is hard for me because I'm very much a fixer. Um, that's been my career for however long. I fix things, and so that is hard for me. I'm learning to just let it go and talk when she's ready. Um, but you're right. It does. I need to be more conscious of it, but it does make us both realize, hey, Amber's creeping in today.
Hmm. But, with all that being said, Amber, Walter, the OCD, it has a very real effect on our day to day lives,
Yes.
and in particular, our health and our wellness and our
Hmm.
fitness journey.
Yes. I am a big believer that if your mind isn't right, then nothing will go okay. Nothing will be right. And the best way to take care of your mind is one, to learn about yourself, whether that's through therapy or self help books or research on the internet, whatever. Um, take care of you first. Um, translating that into fitness, we go to the gym because it is therapeutic for us.
Yeah.
It's not only is it good physically, of course, but mentally, there's so many mental benefits, health benefits, um, to working out, and it does nothing but good.
I had a guest speaker at work one time. I don't think I've told you this. Um, but in her presentation, she talked about how when we are doing these like really mundane tasks at work that just take up a lot of energy and really require thought and effort, it eats up this thing in your brain she called gray matter.
Yeah.
And the best way to replenish that is by working out, whether it's even just like going on a walk outside.
Yeah.
By physically taking care of yourself, you're building up that gray matter in your brain to help get you through those medial day to day tasks.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as busy as I am, I try really hard to make it a priority to find time for myself. One, because it's how we bond and it's
Yeah.
our quality time. But two, I need that time in the gym.
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be time in the gym. Like today,
Yeah.
it's the weekend. We don't work out on the weekends. The weather's getting nicer, and we've been going for walks lately. We've
Hmm.
taken our dog to the park. Um, Today we went on a 1.5 mile walk. Just
Out from the neighborhood,
yeah, just to get some sunshine and
fresh air,
fresh
and
air and
2
just
steps.
so whatever you can do. If you don't have a gym membership, if you don't want to go to the gym, if you don't have the motivation for a gym, walk around the office, walk around the park, walk around the neighborhood, walk around just something. If it's a rainy day, do steps around your house. It doesn't matter. Just being active stimulates so many things physically and mentally, and you will see the difference for sure.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Also, of course, 100% advocates of therapy,
Professional help.
professional help. It is mind changing. It is
Life changing.
life changing,
Mind blowing.
mind blowing, and life changing. Um, I've been very open about my therapy journey. I have been going to therapy for 20 plus years, and I will preach it to anybody. Who cares if you're a dude and you don't want to talk about your feelings and whatever else? It is so worth it because of the benefits.
And even if you're not there yet, finding a few close friends you can talk about these things with
Yeah,
still will do you a world of good. And we encourage that as well.
yeah, yeah. I have encountered several men that are uncomfortable going to therapy, but they will talk to close guy friends over a drink, or sitting outside on a patio one night, or whatever, and that's their therapy, and that's fine. But they're getting those emotions out. They're confiding in people and talking through things.
Sometimes saying it out loud is half the battle, and it really aids in understanding and processing. And I found, I think for myself and for you, it's when we put things out loud, say things out loud rather, and to put it in perspective and help us tackle and address these things head on.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of this was just to say that even the most unsuspecting folks can struggle with different elements of mental health.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by having the conversation, we hope that you see that you are not alone and that there are options to get help for that, whether it be talking to someone professional, talking to friends, and just opening up, because you never know who is also going through the same thing, who may have insight and who may have some helpful advice for you.
Yeah.
And it really goes a long way to take care of yourself mentally first so that you can kind of make forward progress when it comes to the physical side of you as well.
Yes, absolutely. Well said.
Thanks.
So please, if you are struggling with anything, think about what we've said. Think about talking to friends or a therapist. Um, think about medication. Just put yourself first.
Yeah.
Um,
On that note,
we love you. We support you. We want everyone to be happy and healthy. That is the goal of this channel. So please like, comment, subscribe. Tell us something you might be going through. Tell us how we can help.
What you found helpful in your own journeys for your mental health, just as well as your physical. And yeah, we just want to hear from you guys. So let us know what's going on.
Yeah. On that note,
Double scoop out.